Okay, welcome back. So this is part two of the demonstration of the use of the calculator for statistical plots and calculations. And what the focus of this video will be is on our two variable data and on the corresponding plots and calculations. And so what we'll do is, I'm not going to show the stuff I've shown before. We'll go directly into our lists, and as you can see, what I've done is already entered as list 2 and list 3 the quiz scores and the test scores. And so my quiz scores are list 2 and my test scores are list 3. And what we're going to focus on doing is a scatter plot, and then a linear regression calculation, residual plot, and a calculation of the correlation coefficient. Okay, so what we'll do is go back to the calculator, quit out of there, and once again, anytime we want to go to plot, we need to go into our stat plot menu using the second function y equals. And what I'm going to do this time is turn the stat plot on and select the very first of the plots, which is the scatter plot. The X list, in this case, the data is such that we are treating the quiz scores as the independent variable, or the X value. And so in this case, I need list 2 pasted in as my X list, and then for my Y list, I'm looking for list 3, the test scores. So second function, then push 3, and it pastes list 2 and list 3. And then what we're going to do at this point is we can push graph. Of course, we may not see the graph, depends on the data. If I push graph now, we don't see anything. It's not because you've made an error. What we need to do is modify the window. And the quickest way and easiest way is to go into the zoom menu as we did in the first video, and if we select number 9, the 9th option in this menu, you will see that we have the zoom stat. I'm going to select zoom stat, and now we have a very clear representation of our data. Once again, if you want to move from point to point, we use the trace button with the cursor keys, and I can now jump to each of these points in turn. This is the point x equals 85, y equals 81, so that would represent a quiz score of 85 and a subsequent test score of 81. So if we come back, that takes care of our scatter plot. And what we're going to do in the scatter plot is, the next step typically is to perform some form of regression. And so what we'll do is focus on the linear regression for this one. And so I now need a linear regression calculation. And so I'm going to quit back to the home page and go into the stat menu. And what I need from the stat menu is to go across to calculate, and this time what I want is number 4, a linear regression calculation, and that will paste onto the main screen. And then the information I need to provide for the calculator is the linear regression calculation for which lists. So in this case, I'm going to push second function 2, that's going to paste the list 2 name in, comma, second function 3, and so that pastes our list 3 name in. And then we do want the calculator to store the equation for us, and so I'm going to put a comma in there, and watch carefully. What I need to do now is push the button that says VARS, variables, scroll across to Y variables, and hit enter with your number 1 highlighted. So this gives us the list of all of the different functions, and I'm going to select Y1. And what that means is, once it's done the calculation, it will paste the equation into Y1 in the graph. And so at this point, all I have to do is hit enter. The calculator performs the calculation for me. And what you can see as well is that the correlation coefficient has already been found as well. So our equation is y equals 0.844x plus 13.67. If we round to 2 decimal places, that would be our equation of our line. And the correlation coefficient, so remember, ignore the r squared. We're only interested in the r value, would be 0.958, correct to 3 decimal places. So that would be our correlation coefficient, which allows us to decide how good the fit is. In this case, the fit is very good. Of course, the scale goes from -1 to 1. This is very close to 1, and that means a very strong positive linear correlation. Okay, so actually by doing that, what we've done is taken care of a correlation coefficient and our linear regression. Do keep in mind, in order for the calculator to produce the correlation coefficient for you, you must ensure that your diagnostics are turned on. and that is done via the catalog. So if we go second function into the catalog, if you scroll down to D, you will find a phrase that says diagnostics on. Select that, and that will make sure that when you do a linear regression calculation, your calculator will find the R value for you. Okay, so two quick things. I'll do a quick aside. If we were to do an exponential regression calculation, which isn't expressly listed here, but we do have to know how to do it, the procedure would be very much the same. And so what we would do is go into stat, go to calculate. If we scroll down, we don't see it listed on that first page, but if you scroll down, you will see that we do have the exponential regression listed, and the information you would need to provide would be exactly the same. So I'm going to paste in the list 2, list 3, and this time what I'll do is I'll save the equation as y2 so it doesn't overwrite the previous one. And now what we do is we have the equation in the form a times b to the power of x. A is 35.2, b is 1, the r value is 0.96, and that allows us to judge whether the exponential function is a better fit or the linear function. And of course, if you push graph, you'll see the line is drawn, and in this case it is also drawn kind of on top of that, the exponential function, and that's because both of those are pasted in the y equals menu, and so it's graphed both of those. Okay, the last thing we're going to need to know how to do is going to be a residual plot. And so what we need to do is go back into the stat plot. Once again, for a residual plot, it's effectively a scatter plot, but the residuals are automatically calculated. We still need the x list as list 2, our independent variable, but for the y list, what we need is the list of residuals. So if you go on to y list, and we don't have a list number to paste here, what we need to do is push second function list, and it will give us a list of the lists we have, and you'll see number 7 is resid, which the calculator finds automatically for you. If I select number 7, it will paste that in to my scatter plot, and then if I push graph, what you'll see is this is our line, and this is our exponential graph. This is not really what we want to see. So as I've said to you before, what I want to do is go to zoom and select number 9, and this is our residual plot over here. Of course, the residual gives you the distance of each of the points from our line of prediction or line of best fit. If you push trace, it allows you to jump from point to point, and what these values tell you, for instance, is this is the quiz score of 85. The test score obtained was 4.2 points below what our linear regression model predicted it would be. And that takes care of the residual plot and the last of the skills that you need for the quiz and the test.